Welcome back. Okay, we've got all sorts of stuff happening over here. The landscapers are here. My girls just got home, so usually they walk in the door like squeaking and squealing. And I did text her and I was like, I am going to be recording. Just enter a little quieter than normal. But I did want to talk to you about getting rid of that mile long to do list in your head. This is something that we've really been working through in my Mom Life Mastery program. And this is a program, I brought it back to life. So here's a funny story. I launched this program 2 years ago and I got two people in. And I thought that that was a failure. And I was so disappointed. And I never launched it again. And as I went on this journey in my business, I realized that that was awful because that was actually a very successful launch. And where would I be? Where would I be if I just would have kept launching that? So I brought it back to life. And as I have been going through it, I was like, oh my gosh, this content is so good. Why did I shut that down? Why did I give up on that dream for a hot minute? And so now I'm really excited to bring it back. And not only am I bringing it back, I'm bringing it back with, I brought it back, came back this month actually. The doors are closed right now, but it will open again soon. So if you're interested, I will drop a link to the waitlist in the chat. In the chat, I always say that. I will drop a link to the waitlist in the show notes. But I think as moms, we all have this dream of this life that we want to live. We all have this like vision of the mom that we desire to be. And then we start to have kids. And then suddenly it's like life happens. Maybe you're working like I was at the first. When I was having my first, when I had my first three, I was working a job. I was going to school. Gosh, what else? I was taking care of the house all by myself. Like I was taking care of laundry, cooking dinners. I was doing all of your typical like mom life roles that society kind of puts as normal onto us. And so I wasn't ever able in the very beginning to like be super present with my kids like I wanted to be because, and I want you to ask yourself this too, when you are with your kids, are you constantly thinking about all of the things that you have to do? And that is what we want to try to eliminate here is we want to be able to relax when we're with our kids. We want to be present in the moment. We want this never-ending to-do list that just sits in the back of our mind to like go away, right? But it's not going to. Maybe you feel like this is how a lot of moms feel too. Like you wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and you're already behind because there's not enough time in the day to get all these things done, right? You're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling frustrated, maybe you're snapping at your kids. This was my case. I was snapping at my kids. I was just like not the patient fun mom that I always thought I would be, and I was really frustrated with that. And so if this is your life, just know, one, you're not alone, and two, this is most moms. Like this is really truly a lot of moms. You would never start a job with without systems, without proven systems to help you succeed. So, why are we starting mom life without all the systems that we need to be able to succeed in mom life and to not only be able to succeed, but to thrive and to do it well and to be able to be present with our kids and be the mom that we want to be? This is what I do. This is what I do. We put systems into place. This is Mom Life Mastery, but we put systems into place so that you become the authority of your life. You are in control of every area. You run your life so that your life does not run you. But when we want to get that mile long to do list out of our heads, we have to think about the mental load that we are carrying. And so I want you to think about, let's just say you have older kids. A lot of the people that I coach have kids. Like I have some clients who have kids as young as 4. I started doing a lot of this when probably my kids were about 4 or 5 is when I really started to offload a lot of the mental load that we carry and teaching them to help me and teaching them to recognize because this is how it starts. As a society, we are shifting. There's not these like predetermined gender roles quite as much anymore that you used to see. A lot of it is shifting. Men are being more supportive in the homes. And if they aren't, wives are finding other ways to get the support that they need. But this could be like hiring a nanny, hiring a cleaner, whatever it is that supports you and frees up your time, right? And if you are in the entrepreneur space as a mom, you definitely need some help so that you are not trying to stay on top of it all. So if you are trying to get that to-do list off of your brain and have your kids help, by the time mine were like 4 or 5 years old, I started letting them help with very simple chores, wiping counters, wiping a table, um, laundry. Probably five-ish, 6-ish is when guys, I love washing clothes. I do not like to fold and put them away. Do not ask me to do that. And so I started this thing where I put a system into place. I didn't even realize I was putting all these systems into place. I think this was just how my brain needed to survive my life. And especially at the time, I was 19 when I had my first, like, I was a baby raising babies. I didn't know what I was doing. I was so overwhelmed and stressed out and frustrated, and money was so tight, and all of the things that pile up on our shoulders. And so I would do one load of laundry a day, one load of laundry a day. And my kids were in charge of their own clothes. So this looked like I would wash them, I would dry them, I would throw them in a heap of a pile in the hallway, and they would go pick out their clothes and go put them away. Now, I did start teaching my littles to put shirts on hangers because, as we all know, kids are not like pros at folding. And let's remember they're little and they do not care the way that we care. They just don't. And so let's just teach them. I have a I have a whole episode on this too, but mom life systems, right? Mom life systems. We teach them to internally motivate themselves and why things should matter. I talk about this on my Instagram a lot too, but so it's like, yeah, when we get these things done, then we can go do this. And not necessarily in bribe manner, but just to start to teach them, oh, like, we didn't get our stuff done today. We actually don't get to go do this. And and this works a lot better. Like, now that my kids are a lot older, they really don't like to suffer the consequences. But but I would start by just like teaching them to put little shirts on a hanger. They still shoved crap in drawers, like their little pants and shorts and whatever. And yes, they wore wrinkly clothes to school, and it was fine. It was fine. We all lived. We're all fine. My my ego is still here. And so apparently I haven't failed bad enough for my my ego to be like, fine, just do whatever, right? It still tries to like pop up and tell me that I'm gonna fail at everything and that my kids should not wear wrinkly clothes and whatever, even though I'm still living and I'm okay. And so that's something that I used to ask myself if I was like trying to change something or I was stepping into like something really uncomfortable and I would do it. I would like wake up the next day and I'd be like, okay, but did I die? And no, of course we didn't. So we're not going to die if our kids wear wrinkly clothes or if they don't hang them up perfectly, right? We get to start to teach them. And so I just want to give you like one more little tip to start to teach them how they can help you carry that mental load so that you can start to relax a little bit more and get that mile long to do list out of your head. Putting systems into place. This is where my task chart came in. You can grab the free template. I'll put a link below, but it's my task chart for kids. And I made it super simple for my two youngest. I put it on the fridge and then I have these little magnets. I've like linked everything in this template. So I've linked the magnets, I've linked my laminator if you need a laminator. I love having a laminator. I use it so much more now than I ever thought I would. But so I print out this task chart, and again, it's completely customizable in Canva. So you can go into Canva, customize it to your home. You can change the colors if you want, like whatever. And then you print it out and you laminate it, and I put it on the fridge. And then I've ordered these little square magnets, and you can fit 2 magnets per square. You could probably fit more, but I have my two youngest, my 14-year-old and my 17-year-old, don't really care to put magnets on chores. So put it on the fridge, and you can practice going through them the first few times if you have younger kids. And then they get to start to have things. So for my youngest two, who are 8 and 10, if they do not get their tasks done, then there's no switch time that day. They get 45 minutes of switch time per day. There's no switch time, like screen time's gone. And if during the summer when it's like warmer and they're wanting to play outside, now it'll be like winter because we're living in the Phoenix area, when they're wanting to go play with friends or do whatever, then they lose friend time. And here's what I'm going to say. Yes, this sucks as a mom also, because sometimes it's like fun when they want to go play with their friends and then you get a little more time to yourself or whatever. But they're only going to forget once, maybe twice. So just keep that in mind. if they hate the consequence, they really don't forget because they're internally motivated. This is why it matters to them to be able to help mom with all of her tasks. They're not necessarily our tasks. These are just the tasks that keep a house running. But when they do their part, then they get to have the fun and they get to do the things that they want to do. And so just really thinking about that. And it's the same for like my older two. If they don't get their tasks done, then it's like they lose their phone for 24 hours. If their grades fall below the expectation in this house, they lose it until it's up. And so just really thinking about what works in your home, you can customize it and whatever. But as we start to teach our kids to help us carry that mental load and be able to recognize it, you can just start to say things to them like, okay, let's look around. Let's look around at the kitchen. What do you see that's out of place? Because if we as a parent are constantly being like, and especially moms, if we're like, hey, come here for a second, like, let's walk through here. Do you see your backpack? Can you go put your backpack away? Right? Instead, when you walk into a room and you're like, hey, what in here is not in its place? What in here needs to be put away? And they recognize the things that need to be put away. That's when their brain starts to shift. So instead of like waiting for mom to tell them, what do I need to put away? They start to look around because they know our expectation as a parent. So then they start to look around and they're like, oh, I need to go put that away. Like that's out of place. And so, do you get the difference here? And so you get to decide. But if you are ready to get that mile long to do list out of your brain, then one, I highly suggest you come and join Mom Life Mastery. Doors will be opening again shortly, but right now you can get on a wait list because doors are closed at the moment. So get on the wait list. You will know when the next time you can hop in will be. And it is an incredible program just to help you put the systems in your life, systems like this, that's going to change everything. It's going to help you be more present with your kids. It's going to help you really become the authority of your life and just allow you as a mom and a human being to be able to relax. This is a space where you start to find you again. You start to create more white space in your days and you start to have less to do so that you can start to look at what do I prioritize in my life and where do I want to spend more time doing those things versus trying to stay on top of it all and feeling overwhelmed and frustrated. It is time to stop feeling overwhelmed and frustrated and just run your life. Let's stop letting our lives run us and let's run our lives. And so that is what this program is all about. So hop on the wait list, snag the task template, and I will talk to you next time.